Hello, Scorpio. Elsie here to do your reading. It is for the week ahead, friends. How are you? I hope you're well. Thank you so much for clicking here. I appreciate you. We are just going to look at some Lenormand this week. I'm going to put down the Lenormand. We are reading for the week ahead, Scorpio. So if you're not aware, if you've never been here before, I always read for the week ahead, whether you get this today, tomorrow, or next year. I'm going to put down these Lenormands, find out what the overall energy is for the reading, and then we're going to look at it with some tarot. Let's find out what's going on for you, Scorpio. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Thanks if you came back. I appreciate you. If you'd like to subscribe, there is a subscription button down in the bottom right-hand corner of this little square where I live. If you'd like to stay, tell me about Scorpio, please. All right. Well, we've got too many cards, so we'll keep this one because it's face up. And then I think we'll take this one and this one because they both came out together. And the bottom of the deck, we have the Star, card 16. We have the Cage, and we have the Book. So we have card number 13. Looks like here, Scorpio, that in the week ahead, you are going to be experiencing some change. I think something new is showing up here. And for some of you, it could be a child, right? We got card number 13 and we have the child, right? So for some of you, it could be a child. Maybe a child is visiting, but also maybe it's the birth of a child. But, you know, children indicate something new, something innocent, being very curious, learning some things. And so I feel like card number 13 is telling me that you are going through some sort of a transformation at this point. I feel like next week is when your transformation sort of wraps itself up, I want to say, and you start seeing the fruits of your labor, or you start seeing the clear. I want to say, like, maybe you've been going through a hard time with towers and such. Maybe you've been, maybe March was hard for you because that was a lot of energy that we were dealing with in March. But we have the Jack of Spades in the bottom right-hand corner, which is the Knight of Swords. So it tells me that this is coming really quickly. And to me, swords are days. And so because we're talking about the week ahead, I feel like your new week begins this way. I feel like there is... like you are wrapping up some sort of a transformation that you're in. We have card number 13, but we have a 3 here, and then we have 2 more 3s. And so I feel like you are now pointed in the right direction, I want to say. You may have been going through some things in March or lately with the planetary retrogrades and stuff that we were dealing in. You may have been dealing in some stuff that was a little bit tense because we do have the Knight of Swords, and that's fast-moving energy. It's also very intense, aggressive sort of energy. Maybe you were dealing in aggressive conversations as well. Maybe that's why something has come to an end. So card number 33 is a 6. We do have a rose at the center of the cage. And when I see the cage, it makes me feel like somebody here is someone who loves freely. I want to say that you're a person who doesn't confine someone. You're the kind of person that just leaves the cage door open and says, look, if you're going to fly, fly. If you come back, I know that you're mine. And if you don't come back, then that's fine. I feel like you've given someone the key and said, you know what, if you'd like to come back into my life, that's fine. And if you don't, it is what it is, right? We do have the 8 of Pentacles in the bottom right-hand corner. I think that you're able to free your mind or free your energy or free somebody in your life, Scorpio, because I feel like you've really worked on yourself. You've done a lot of self-work, possibly self-mastery. The 8 of Pentacles is the self-mastery bit of it, right? So it feels like you have brought yourself to a place of maybe you're working on your confidence, because after the 8 of Pentacles is the 9, and the 9 is where you get your confidence, right? You get your confidence in place. So I feel like that you are letting something go. It's like you're leaving the cage door open and you're letting something go, whether that's a person, maybe it's a job, maybe you're ending something here with card 13, which is the Death card in the tarot. Maybe you're ending something and saying, look, if you want to go, go. I'm not going to keep you here. But it feels like you're giving someone the key, like giving them the key to your house or giving them the key to the cage and saying, look, I'm not going to keep you caged here. I'm not going to keep the cage, this heart in the cage here. We have a rose in the cage, which tells me that for some of you, we could be talking about a relationship where you've decided to maybe just open the door and say, look, if you can find something else better out there, go ahead and do it. I'm not going to try and keep you in this place, in this relationship. We do have the book here, and the book can be a book of knowledge or a book of secrets. And so we do have card number 26, which is also an 8. We have a couple of 8s here. It really does feel like the week ahead for you is abundant. And although things are coming to an end and doors are opening, I feel like you're letting things go, or you're letting people or relationships go, or possibly a job. It feels like it's all part of the plan. I want to say that this book is it's a book of knowledge, right? We have the 10 Pentacles in the bottom of the deck. It's all part of your legacy plan, is what it feels like. It's like I'm not going to have myself pointed in the wrong direction for the rest of my life. I'm looking for my abundance. I'm looking for something long-term. I want long-term happiness, long-term abundance. And so it feels like this is your playbook, I want to say. And maybe there's secrets and knowledge in there. Let's look at some tarot. Bottom of the deck here, because I'm primarily a tarot reader, I'm always looking at numbers, and card number 16 is in the tarot. That is the Tower. And then we have the Star, which is the card that comes after the tarot, after the Tower in the tarot. So it feels like you're going to experience some sort of a soft tower. And what I mean by that is there will be a shift and a change that will surprise you. Something is shifting, something is changing in the week ahead, but it's something that's going to make you happy, or something that's going to clear a path and you're like, whew, I'm glad that's over with. Like, it feels like it's almost like a breath of fresh air. And then I think you sort of take one more look back to make sure nobody's following you into the new vibration. It looks like I think you found your way. We've got the compass here. All right, let's take a look at some tarot. Tell me about tarot. Let me use that deck. Tell me about Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Scorpio, don't forget, there's some sales on, and they're only going on till the 30th of the month, till April 30th. So please look at the pinned comment. There's a coupon code there if you're into pre-recorded readings, but you can also now get me live. So you can get me live at Hipsy. So go over and take a look at my pricing. There's a 75% off sale if you want to get face-to-face with me, whether that's a phone call, a video, or in text. And yeah, go take a look. Right. Tell me what's going on for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter for the week ahead. What else do we need to know about Scorpio, please? We've got the Ace of Wands. So I do believe that whatever this ending is, it's something that's giving you relief. It's pushing you into some sort of new vibration here, and it feels like it's happening quickly. For some of you, it could be within a couple of days, which means, you know, like we are already, as I read this, we are Friday turning to Saturday. So it could be in a few days, a couple of days for you. But for others of you, it could be a week, because for me, wands are weeks. It feels like something new, something that is just budding is about to get pretty exciting. It feels like it's something that you've been waiting for, like some sort of new path to open for your life to get a little bit more exciting, a little bit more spark, I want to say, pep in your step. It feels like you've been waiting for something more exciting to come along. I think the universe is offering it to you. The aces are always blessings from the universe, right? Given to you. We do have the Hermit energy here. It does feel like you've been doing a lot of thinking, I want to say. The Hermit energy, of course, is somebody, you know, we never pick a time in a day that we're going to Hermit energy. Sometimes we just sort of fade into the background because there are things that we need to talk about or think about, and they don't involve anyone else. We're making decisions for ourselves. I feel like you are trying to find your way, trying to find your path, or trying to find your light. And I think that you've come to a conclusion with this cage and the door being open with the key here that I can't be caged. I'm just not going to allow anybody to cage me or to boss me around in a relationship. And I just don't want to do that to anyone else. So it feels to me like you really have thought this over. You've really thought this over. I feel like this is part of your self-mastery information here. It feels like, excuse me, could have a Virgo placement, don't have to, maybe an Aries, but I feel like you're really going over the self-audit is what it feels like. You've been going over the self-audit and you've come to a few conclusions. And the conclusions are, I'm just not going to keep myself caged. I need to open the door and I need to be free. I need to free my heart, free my energy. And it feels like that answer comes to you in the Hermit energy. Tell me about this, this book of knowledge, book of secrets here. This is about you because it's card 26 and 8s are about you, or putting the hard work in to something here. I think you've got a game plan here that you're not really sharing with other people. The 10 of Pentacles tells me that you are playing the long game here, that you are looking for long-term stuff. So a job that's going to be your last job, or a relationship that'll be your last relationship, or that you're building some sort of a legacy. But I think it's all in the playbook, like the book of knowledge or the book of secrets. I feel like you're just not telling people about it, keeping it under the surface. And I don't really think it's anybody's business, to be honest. I feel like you're going to release it when it's time, like when it's the right time. But I think that right now, you're just keeping it all under the surface, keeping it quiet for now. We have the 9 of Wands, we have the 2 of Wands, and we have the 3 of Wands. So looking into the future, making a plan for the future, right? So it feels like until you have the plan solidified, which I think is a masterful plan, until you are solid and sure, until you really know what you want, I feel like you should keep your plans under the surface. Like I feel like you should keep to yourself, keep your plans to yourself. It feels like the 2 of Wands and the 3 of Wands being here tells me that you are indecision at this time about what you're going to do or who you're going to do it with or where you're going to go. But it does feel like you've got a future plan. I feel like you are ready to let go of the past, drop some burdens, take the transformation as it is. I feel like this might have been a really tough cycle for you or a tough transition to this place. It feels like it was because you were giving up things. It feels like you were almost ready to give up, I'm going to say, until the Ace of Wands appears as your blessing from the universe. It says, wait, don't give up. Hang on, the 9 of Wands is here. Don't give up. You're right at the end of the cycle. I'm going to give you the extra wand here so you can carry on your merry way and you can drop the burdens that you no longer need. But you're going to have to take action eventually on whatever is in this book. Let's talk about the Ace of Wands and the 9 of Wands here. What are you dropping these burdens here? We've got the Lovers, we've got the Devil, and we've got the High Priestess. So I feel for some of you, it is probably making a choice to no longer take part in or favor or foster codependent relationships. It feels like the High Priestess energy tells me that you are disconnecting from people who are looking at riding on your coattails, if you know what I mean. It's like, how can I say? It's like people that want to see you do good so they can tell other people that you've done good. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like people who worship ball teams. It's like it has nothing to do with them that the ball team won, but they take it on as their own personal pride. They take it on as their own personal win. And I feel like that's what you're getting rid of. And so I feel like you're no longer going to be in the service of others and codependent relationships. It feels like these are relationships that I feel are, though, with people, understand, they're with these people that you would consider soulmates, like they're really close to you, these people. But I think that you have created codependency with some people. And it feels like your intuition has been gnawing at you or bugging you, telling you that it's time to let it go. But the Devil energy is here saying, but you're going to be alone. These people have been with you for a long time. Like it feels like that sort of energy. Like the Devil is like, I don't know what you're doing. You might want to keep a little bit of this codependency. Like it's throwing fear and doubt is what it is. The High Priestess energy is, the High Priestess is usually by themselves, right? This is somebody who's meditating, praying, learning, listening to the universe, connecting with the universe. And this is somebody who's quiet. So I feel like you are trying to stay quiet to listen to your gut, but I feel like the Devil pokes in and says, look, you're going to be alone. You're going to be alone, and some of those people aren't going to hang around. And if they don't, then, it is what it is, right? You know who the ones are that are going to stick around here. Tell me about this transition here that Scorpio is going through. It feels like you're unloading things, I want to say, with the 10 Wands here. We've got the 8 of Cups in the reverse. We've got the 9 of Cups. You can't keep going through the same cycles, Scorpio. And I feel like you've been going through cycles, and it almost feels like you couldn't do anything about it. It feels like you felt like your hands were tied. It worried you that it was going in the wrong direction, but it felt like you felt powerless to do it. Well, we've got the Knight of Swords here, which carries 1 sword, and then we have the 9 swords. So the 10 swords is here, and I feel like if you're going to release it from your life, you've got to release it from your mind. We have the 8 of Cups, and the 8 of Cups tells me what you are ending is allowing people to leave you and come back, and leave you and come back. For some of you, this could be codependent relationships. People who decide that they don't want to date you anymore, and then they go off and they date other people, and they realize they can't find you in anyone else, so they come back and then you let them in. It's not the fact that they come back, it's the fact that you let them in. And for those of you who aren't letting them in, I'm not talking to you, so stand aside for a second. But the 8 of Cups is like, I went out there to find the 2 of Cups and it wasn't there, so I came back. It's like the boomerang. So I feel like what is happening here is through this transformation that you're becoming aware of the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is about building your happiness by yourself, by finding things that really make you happy. This particular person is engaged in pottery, right? But maybe you have found something creative that really makes you happy, that puts you in a meditative state, because that's what this person's doing. They're staying in meditation. When you create things like paintings and such like that, it does put you in a creative sort of meditation. I feel like this what you're ending here with the card number 13, the death card here, is you're ending the worry. I feel like you have built some boundaries, or you're building boundaries, or releasing some things. And in that, I feel like you will find in time, and maybe it's going to be hard right away, because, yep, when people see that you've built boundaries and they can't be codependent with you anymore, then that's when they decide to walk away from the boundaries and never come back. And I'm not saying that that's not going to be the hardest thing that ever happened to you, but I'm going to say that you will now have no more worries. Who's taking advantage of me? Why are they coming back? Do they just want something? I feel like you're detaching from all of that stuff. Tell me about this Seven of Swords, the Two of Wands. I want to see what's in this book of secrets here, this book of knowledge. Whatever it is, it's about you, and I think it's your gameplay here. Feels like it's the rule book of your life, is what it feels like. I always say, and you don't have to believe what I believe, but I think that we come here having written this rule book, and then the universe gives us towers and gives us major arcana to keep us on the right path. Tell me, I feel like you're starting to realize that there is a method to your madness. We've got the Six of Wands in the reverse. Got the Eight of Swords. And we have the Three of Cups. I think that you're moved in the right direction. I was talking about threes before. Now we have the third three. Well, we have three threes here. Now we got four threes. I feel like you're moving in the right direction, and it feels like it's going to be here. You're going to spend time in the Eight of Swords. There's no doubt about it. You're going to spend some time in the Eight of Swords, because you're going to feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But you don't have control over whether people walk away or not, right? So there are people here who are going to be deep into their egos, right? People here who are not interested in coming back to your home, right? The Six of Wands to me is when it's in the upright, it's like people cheering you on. It's like you're coming back home. And I think that these people are now releasing that. It feels like there are going to be people who are not going to be cheering you on, because you've decided that you don't really need other people to cheer you on, that you are happy on the inside, which is the Nine of Cups. You're happy anyway. It never really was about the people who gave you kudos from the outside. You never really needed those things on the outside. I feel like for a little bit, yeah, the Eight of Swords is here, and it does put you in this energy of, well, there's nothing I can do about it, because I feel like this Tower is showing up here. We've got the Tower and we've got the Page of Pentacles. Look, you're going to find something new, a new group of people, a new friend. It feels like you are headed for this Emperor energy here, and I want to say that you are heading into a time in your life when you're going to be very sturdy, very stable. It feels like your wisdom is what you are headed into, a new cycle of wisdom, I'm going to say. We do have a shift that is coming up here, or a realization that there's a lot of opportunities out there for me. And if there are some people who aren't going to come back, then maybe I don't have to really worry about that too much. It's still going to hurt your feelings, but it is what it is, right? You'd rather be happy than be in servitude to other people. Tell me about the Two of Wands and the Seven of Swords, please, because I feel like you're making a plan, but the plan is under the surface, and I think that's for a reason. What is this? We've got the Four of Wands, we've got the Temperance card, and we've got the Wheel of Fortune. I really feel like it's all about your stability. It's all about your security. It feels like now you're focused on you, Scorpio, instead of focused on doing the things that other people would have you do in order to get the kudos from them. I feel like you're now sort of blocking people out, putting them behind the barriers that you've created, it feels like. And the Four of Wands tells me that's bringing you stability and healing. It feels like a quiet home is a happy home. It feels like there's no more chaos. And I feel like what you're doing here is you're just waiting for the Wheel of Fortune to move forward here. And I think that the Wheel of Fortune is moving forward. I'm just going to say as a side thing, I think that if there's somebody here who's decided to sell a house, I feel like this is probably going to sell probably in October. I would say maybe around middle of October. It feels like with the Four the Four of Wands being here, which is the house or the home, and we've got the Temperance here. It's like the sale of the home happens in a moment of alchemy, and it's when the Wheel of Fortune begins to move forward, because this is your abundance, right? This is Jupiter energy, which is the expansion of everything. And so I think it's the expansion of the home. So maybe you're buying a new home or upgrading your home, or maybe you're adding more rooms to your home. Maybe you're building something onto your home. But it feels like there is an expansion of your stability, your security, of your home, of your balance. You're solid. I'm going to say your emotions are good. Yeah, it feels like the Wheel of Fortune is here to tell you that there is a lot of deep change that is showing up here, but I feel like you shouldn't be scared of it, because look, you've already gone through some towers, right? Saw the tower on the bottom of the deck, plus we had a tower in the future here. This is a soft tower, which I think is probably connected to the Wheel of Fortune and the good change, the fortunate change that's going to be showing up for you here. Tell me about this hermit, please. It feels like you've learned all of this while you were in hermit mode. Feels like maybe you sequestered yourself away, not on purpose, but I feel like you learned a few things about what you really want in life, it seems like. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. I did talk about the 9, right? The 9 of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and the 4 of Swords. So we go from the 8 Pentacles to the 9 Pentacles, and the 8 Pentacles is under here. Is it here? There's the 8 Pentacles. Yeah, it feels like the 8 Pentacles goes to the 9 Pentacles. So I feel like what you've been working on is not only stabilizing yourself in terms of financially, possibly, but you're becoming way more confident about what you really want in terms of a relationship. For some of you, it could be relationship related. It feels like somebody here is finally getting clarity of the mind about the Knight of Cups. What do I really want? Maybe I really want to talk to a certain person, possibly. That person is holding the Ace of Swords with the 3 of Swords over the head. It feels like maybe I want to speak to someone specifically that I might have feelings for. Maybe you now will find the confidence to do that in this new cycle. Tell me what the outcome is, please. We've got the 6 of Swords. I like it. The Ace of Swords is here. And then we have the King of Pentacles. Look, you are releasing a lot of old baggage, old things, old ways of thinking. It feels like you're releasing relationships of people who only show up when they need something from you, Scorpio, is what it feels like. Got the 6 of Swords here, and it tells me you're going to calmer waters because of some sort of realization that you've had, a moment of clarity, or it's time for me to really speak up for myself and be truthful and honest and be really clear with the people around me about what I want. We got 6 and 4, which is 10 swords, and this 1 and 9 is 10. You're releasing. So you're releasing not only things from your life, but once you release them from your life, you're releasing them from your mind. You're like, I just got to give it back to the universe. I think that what it does is it brings you to this place of stability, security. You've decided that I'm going to move really slow toward the goals that are in this book of secrets here. And it doesn't matter who hangs around. I can't stop people from leaving me. If I put up a boundary, that means that they really weren't a friend, or they really didn't love me as much as I thought that they did. So the 3 of Cups tells me going into the future, you've got a lot to celebrate. And it feels like some of it could be financial things. Some of it could be about money. For some of you, the King of Pentacles is here. We do go from the 9 to the King, right? So once you start getting everything else in order, it feels like you turn into this King of Pentacles energy, or you start to become more stable, more grounded. You feel your worth. You know your worth. That's what it feels like here. You've had a realization or a moment of clarity about, look, I just can't let people in and out of my life. I can't do it forever. I'm not going into the future with this. It does feel like you are deciding after you get this good news or this shift of energy, whatever this good news is. And I think there's a lot of good news here, but I'm going to say that there's a specific shift of energy here that is going to make you just move along and make sure that the people that are in the old vibration are not going to follow you. Because I feel like you've woken up and saw the carnage, and it's time for you to go somewhere new, a new place in the mind, possibly just a new location. You're on a new path, friend. That's what it is. Page of Swords, curious again. Things are sparking your interest. Now I'm excited about life again. I'm no longer weighed down by the things that other people have put on my shoulders. I'm just going to leave that right there for you, Scorpio. Thank you so much for being here and watching. I do appreciate you showing up. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back. And I will see you guys throughout the week. Bye-bye.